Hey, what's up everyone? John here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be comparing the language programs from Babbel and Mango languages. I've seen a lot of buzz about Mango and I've finally had a chance to use it and test it out, so now it's time to compare it against one of the most popular apps on the market, Babbel, and tell you which one I think is better. So if you're ready, let's get to it. Okay, welcome back. So I should mention up front here that since I'll primarily just be discussing the areas in which I think Babbel is better than Mango and Mango is better than Babbel, if you find you need more detail at any point, or if you really want to dive into each company's program structure, format, and learning framework, you can always check out our full detailed written comparison over on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google Test Prep Insight, Mango versus Babbel. It's the quickest way to find it. All right, so a quick outline for this video. First, I'm going to compare pricing between these two apps since that's always an important factor when determining value. Then I'm going to break down how each program works from a high level. Then I'll walk through a few points on where I see each app winning over one another. And lastly, I'll give you a quick verdict on which app I would personally choose. So let's start with that pricing. Babbel has a few different subscription plans ranging from around $7 per month for their one-year plan up to $14 per month for their pay-as-you-go plan. Or you can purchase a lifetime pass, which includes access to all Babbel languages for around $300. With Babbel, it all just depends on how long you want to commit to and pay for in advance. Then Mango, on the other hand, just has two plans, a single language plan or an all languages plan, which gives you access to all 70 of their languages. If you pay monthly, the single language plan is $8 a month and the all language plan is $18. Or if you want to pay for a year in advance, the single language plan costs a shade under $7 and the all language plan is about $15 on a monthly basis. So in terms of cost, it's pretty close here. Assuming you're just looking for access to a single language, these two programs are within a buck or so of each other. But one thing I do want to note here is that Babbel seems to be much more aggressive in their discounting the Mango languages. They regularly offer deals and special promotions almost year-round, so make sure to check for coupon codes before buying. Mango also does sometimes run sales, but not nearly as often or aggressively as Babbel. But in any event, we track both companies' sales calendars, so to make things easy, I'll drop any current discount codes and links that I can find down in the description for you. Make sure to check that out and save yourself a few bucks if you decide to go with one of these two companies for your language learning. Okay, so now that we've covered cost, let's do a quick high-level overview of each course. And let's start with Mango. For organizing their lesson work, Mango has a fairly standard structure. In the whole program, there are 5 main units which cover major topics like introductions, connections, community, etc. Then within each main unit, there are chapters, usually 4 to 10 chapters per main unit, and within each chapter, there are 12 to 20 lessons. Those are the basis of your daily learning. Each lesson takes about 5 to 15 minutes to complete, depending on how involved you want to get. Now, to be honest, the Mango lessons are a little different from most other language learning app lessons that I've reviewed. Basically, an English-speaking moderator walks you through the lesson where you learn a handful of words and phrases. There are 3 main exercise or drill types to learn these words and phrases. They're called Learn, Speaking Quiz, and Critical Thinking. Those are the 3 types, and every so often there is a quick grammar or culture note inserted. There are no videos, mock conversations, flashcards, graphics, or anything like that, which is pretty typical in other language apps. Then for Babbel, their program is fairly similar in terms of structure and length. The program overall uses a pyramid-type structure with lessons as the basis for coursework, and the lessons take just 10 to 15 minutes. But other than that, it is fairly different. Rather than the same 3 types of drills over and over across a lesson, Babbel uses a massive variety of exercises to teach whatever the day's lesson covers. Matching pairs, flashcards, speaking drills, listening drills, mock dialogues, reading, fill in the blanks, etc. There's just a lot more variety. And rather than inserting a grammar note at a singular point in each lesson, the grammar instruction in Babbel's lessons is much more pervasive. There's frequent call-out boxes and notes about grammar tips, and even sometimes entire lessons are dedicated to grammar. So you definitely get a lot more coverage of grammar principles with Babbel. And that sort of covers both programs from a high level. And I know I covered that pretty quickly and it was a little oversimplified, so if you want to dive deeper or see examples of the lessons or drills from either company, make sure to check out that full detailed written comparison I mentioned. I'll have it linked down below in the description. I have screenshots and examples over there so you can get a better feel for how each program works. So now that you generally know how each language app works, let's cover the main advantages of using Babbel over Mango and vice versa. And let's start with Babbel. And the first thing I want to talk about is something I've already touched on, lesson diversity. While I like the simplicity of Mango's rinse, lather, repeat type structure, I found the Babbel lessons overall to be much more engaging because there's so much more going on. You'll start with a speaking drill, then jump into a picture-based flashcard exercise, then a matching pairs drill, then a simulated dialogue, and before you know it, the lesson is over. The variety of exercises just makes the lessons go by very quickly, and honestly, I think it helps with language retention. Plus, I really like all the visuals that Babbel includes throughout their lesson exercises. Mango Languages doesn't really offer any graphics or images at all, and I do think this can make things kind of tough for visual learners. Alright, so second advantage in favor of Babbel is their review sessions. So every day when you log into the Babbel app, they'll have you do a quick 2 to 3 minute review session. They'll test you on vocabulary you already learned a few weeks back and make sure that it's sticking. I personally love this spaced repetition approach and think it adds a lot of value. Consistency and repetition are crucial for language learning, and this method really helps you move newly learned words from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Not to mention, I like that Babbel gives you the option on how you want to review. You can choose flashcards, listening, speaking, or writing. It's really cool. Mango does have a review system of their own, but I just prefer Babbel's. Okay, so third up for Babbel is their approach to grammar. As I mentioned, both companies use pretty different approaches to teaching grammar. Mango seems to be more focused on teaching words and phrases and not necessarily grammar, so they have pretty limited coverage with just one drill per lesson. It's always a nice little tip or point, but Babbel's approach is much more comprehensive in my opinion. They have entire lessons dedicated to grammar, and even in the non-grammar lessons, they do a nice job of weaving in these tips and key points with little call-out boxes. In my opinion, Babbel's approach is a very effective and efficient way of learning your grammar. Then, last up for Babbel are all of the bonus features you get. So with Mango, it's really just the main course and not much more. There's a progress tracker and Mango Movies, which are a handful of language-based movies, but other than that, there's really not too many cool extras. Now, Babbel on the other hand gives you a bunch of awesome tools and resources like dedicated audio lessons, podcasts, games, like a fun little maze game that I'm hooked on, an e-magazine, and vocab reviews. This supplemental work just makes the Babbel program overall feel a lot more well-rounded and comprehensive. Alright, so that's Babbel. Now let's turn the tables and cover the major advantages in favor of Mango. But before I get to that, I do just want to mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we actually give away a free language learning course to one lucky person. It's super simple to enter. Everyone out there is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description, but just know that it takes like 10 seconds to enter, and hey, you never know, you could win a totally free package from Mango or Babbel. Okay, so my first advantage in favor of Mango is their voice analysis tool. In their lesson work, Mango has a pretty cool feature that allows you to record yourself for any speaking drill. You record yourself repeating a phrase and it gives you a visual readout of your tone and inflection. You can then grab the readout and move it over to line it up with the fluent speaker example so you can compare what you said versus the native speaker. I actually thought this was pretty useful as you can see where you're not hitting inflection points or holding tones too long. It's pretty helpful for visual learners. Then, the second advantage of using Mango is their breakdown between literal and understood phrases. So, as you start to learn a new language, what you'll notice is that a lot of times phrases and sayings don't translate into new languages word for word. Rather, there's usually a similar phrase or way of conveying your message that isn't a direct word for word translation. And to help you learn these little differences, Mango offers this cool little toggle switch where you can switch back and forth between seeing the common everyday understanding of the phrase and the literal word for word translation. For me personally, this was super helpful for learning common terminology. And my last advantage for Mango is their color coding. I'm a pretty visual person, and when you're learning a new language like German, for example, you'll notice that the structuring of sentences is often different from how you structure sentences in English. So, to help you learn these differences, Mango color codes all the different components of a sentence, such as verbs, adjectives, objects, and subjects. And then they stack up the two versions of the same sentence side by side so you can see how things move around. This is one of the hardest parts of learning a new language because you have to sort of rewire your brain for your new language in terms of how you construct sentences when saying and hearing things, and this color coding, at least for me, was a big help in seeing structural differences in the languages. And that about does it for the detail in this comparison, so let's get to the final verdict. Should you choose Mango Languages or Babbel? Well, after using and testing out each program, I personally prefer Babbel. Mango Languages has a lot going for it with their color-coded sentence structures, pronunciation analysis tool, and quick hit lessons, but overall, I just found Babbel to be the more engaging and effective app. Their lessons are more diverse, their system of reviewing vocab is more effective, I love all the images and visuals throughout the drills, and the grammar emphasis is a lot stronger. So in the end, between these two, I would point you towards Babbel. Anyway, that's all I have for you. I hope this video was helpful and you learned a little something about both Mango and Babbel. If so, make sure to return the favor by subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and dropping us a quick comment below. That would be really appreciated. And again, if you want to see that full, detailed written comparison that I mentioned earlier in this video, just hop on over to our website, testprepinsight.com, or check out the rest of the videos on our YouTube channel. We got a bunch of great content out there. But as always, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.